I didn't press that. So you've moved out of home. You've got to rent. You're choosing to rent with a couple of friends with share accommodation. Then one of you wants to move out. We're going to teach you this morning what to do. Stay tuned.
I'm the ringleader, so listen up.
The universe's most popular property manager, Cleo Whithear.
Good morning. How are you all?
Cleo, how are you, legend?
I'm good. I'm good. I brought my clothes in last night, so I'm happy. It rained this morning, and I was like, no. Anyway, it is what it is.
This
Freaks,
this is a
freaks out.
weird start to a summer in Sydney. This is a weird start to a summer.
And it's muggy. I feel like it's muggy, or it could be age. I don't know if a bit of hot flushing going on, but it is muggy.
Bit of both. Bit of both.
Bit of both.
Now, Claire, you get this all day, every day, where tenants are in properties together. You know, two best friends on a lease, two best friends and best friend's girlfriend on a lease. All these different mix-ups, and then they ring up and they say, "Take me off the lease."
Yep. Yep. It
Michael stole
happens.
Michael stole my cheese.
You know what? When you're at home and someone eats your last ice cream and they're family, you get the shits. Imagine if it's someone that's not even a family member and you're just living with this person and you go, oh, I've been saving that and it's gone. I'd be pissed.
It happens in
um,
our fridge with yogurt.
oh, yogurt,
Stuff
yes.
like that was my. I wanted that that was my. What? You're like, it was in the fridge. Didn't say anything on it.
Yeah, yeah. Everybody has something in their fridge that everybody wants. And, and it doesn't just come down to food, it could come down to laundry powder, toilet paper, everything you share is, sharing is caring. Is it really in a rental property? Maybe not so.
You, and how would you ever know if you don't play the roulette game? Like, how would you know if they're not going to be a good fit to live with unless you live with them and it's not a good fit? You sort of don't know.
It's true. In the beginning, it must be fun. I did it when I moved into the city. I moved away from Northern Beaches. I shared with a girl and we had a great old time. We're out all the time. We barely cooked. Like it worked for me. But long term, not sustainable, especially when, you start having friends and family that want to come over and you've only got one living room. And yeah, there's a lot of compromise. But when that doesn't work, one person wants to leave, they often say, take my name off the lease. Now, a lease is a binding contract. It's not that we can just get a rubber or liquid paper and take your name off the lease agreement. Some people physically want their name off the lease. Now, the lease is the contract for a period of time, 12 months, 6 months. Once that period's over and the lease lapses, it's up to the owner if they want to renew it with new names or new people. If they just want to leave things as they are, as in no new lease term, the only thing you can really do as a sublettee is change the bond, as in the names held at the bond board. So there is a piece of paper called a shared tenancy form, and all the existing and pre-tenants put their names down and sign. The tenant that wants to come off signs at the bottom, and then the bond gets re-lodged in the names that you want the bond to be held in, because that's what keeps everyone accountable in the property. It's the bond. If you go to NCAT, that's what gets contested. But having said that, an original leaseholder has to remain in the property at any one time. So if you've got 3 tenants, one original, one OG has to be in there. The other 2 can change and fluctuate as many times as long as there's that one person that was on the original lease. And that's important. If you both want to go and you're sharing, then you just both vacate. There's no getting someone else in and doing this and changing it. It's too messy. It's better to just everyone leave, the bond gets carved up, and then we start fresh again.
What if I'm a tenant and I two tenants and we find two tenants that want to go into our lease?
Yes. So essentially, you're trying to get away from paying a break lease fee, which a lot of tenants do. They want to, basically control that narrative. Look, it's doable. Your name still remains on the lease. So if these two new people come in and burn the place down, your tenancy is also in jeopardy. Your rental history is in jeopardy. If that owner decides that he's happy for those people to move in and they've verified their application, doesn't mind that there's that changeover, doesn't want any changes, then it can work. It's
You mean
rare, but
going
it can
condition
work.
report?
You can do a new, but no. Usually, what that means in a lease agreement, fixed term, is the new tenants moving in sign saying that they are taking on the original ingoing condition report. So
Oh,
that, yeah, yeah. So they're taking on inherent problems that might not be theirs, that might be questionable. What if those tenants, the originals, the OGs, didn't even fill in the ingoing and they missed a whole bunch of things? So then you pay the OGs a portion of the bond, your share, and then when you leave, you get scarred for all that bond. I've just had that recently, actually, where the original tenants moved back to their home country and they just put someone else in, assumingly we were told, but we didn't know officially that that's what had happened. They'd already been living there. Now, when they moved out, there's a whole bunch of repairs and damages. When we're emailing to say we're claiming this from the bond, the original tenants are going, why? It's become this whole big argument with the old tenants, the new tenants. They're arguing amongst themselves who damaged that, who damaged this. Not my problem. My problem is I have a property, I need to fix it for the landlord. I have one bond. These are the names I have the bond under. You've changed 3, 4, 5 tenants, whatever. That's on you.
oh,
That's what's happening. So it's a $1,550 claim. The tenants will be lucky to get back $500 from their bond. It's unfortunate, but these things happen with these shared arrangements. Some tenants like to try and keep the property within their family, within their friends. It's not your property, okay? If you're subletting and you're doing the wrong thing, it's going to come back at some point to haunt you. Usually financially, something will go wrong. But that property, we've had tenants, that use the same name and they just change bank accounts and it rolls over and over and over, and you go, oh, I don't think you're the tenant. Were you the original tenant? I don't think you're the original tenant. And there's probably maybe 4 of those same tenants in there. You can easily lose control.
so I guess in practice, like they feel like that because they've got occupation and
Yes.
because they're paying the same dollars that the previous person was, that everything should be okay. But there's a lot more to it that will come out in the wash in the end if they don't get it fixed up in the beginning when they take over.
For sure. And look, ledgers and things that you need for applying for visas and student, university loans and all that sort of stuff have to be in the name of the actual tenant. So a lot of the time we get tenants that say, hey, my name's not on the ledger. I've been paying rent here for 6 months. And I'm like, well, I don't know. No one's told me anything. I just know that Joe Black and Joe Smith live at the property. That's who I've got on the ledger. That's where the money's coming from. That's where as far as I know, if you guys have changed that arrangement and, not told your property manager, I can't just then add you to a ledger and have a history of 6 months worth of rental payments.
No.
That's gone. That ship sailed. I used to manage a house in Newport back in the day when I was fresh and green, and there was like 8 tenants. They were all guys, all tradies. The house was huge. It was literally 2 kitchens, one upstairs, one downstairs, like quadruple garage. It was a man palace, and it was on Barrenjoey Road. And literally, they were all surfers. They all had, jobs. One was a banker, one was in uni, one was a plumber, one was an electrician. And I had literally this lease agreement that had like 8 names on it. And I was like, can I do this? Like, they're paying 1,100 a week and they were all paying portions of the rent through our automatic rent system. And the ledger was like $250, 180, 400. Like, it was just crazy. And so I had a meeting with 3 of the OGs and I said, look, this isn't working. How about you guys, just whatever you do, you guys can manage this alongside me, but I want one bank account and I want it on the 15th of every month, you know? So it was clear for the owner because he didn't care who was living there as long as the rent was being paid. So I go there for these inspections and it was called the Barrenjoey Boys. The house was the Barrenjoey Boys and they had a surfboard out the front and all the tenants that were tenants in this house would put their name on the surfboard. It was so cool. Like, you know, they had lived there. And mate, doing these inspections is crazy. I'd go into one room and there would be like posters of stacks like naked girls on the wall and I'd be like, this is probably the plumber's bedroom. And then I'd go upstairs, like totally different. There were all these rooms, but you know what, that arrangement worked for that house. So
Well,
as long as
the owner was understood and was accepting, and that worked for the tenants. Do you ever get with these shared tenancies? Do you ever get them where there's like kingpin that makes heaps of profit?
I think so. I don't see a lot of profit, but they probably do make some kind of kickback or whatever, you know. At the end of the day, though, they're also losing their rental history if things go bad. If someone makes, you know, you put the wrong person in and they damage the property or they stop paying rent, you know, it can become difficult to manage. That's for sure. But no, not really often. Not so much now. The way rental stock is, people are very transparent. People are trying not to do the wrong thing because it's hard out there and it's hard to find, you know, good properties and landlords and agents that we all work together well and it's, you know, cohesive. But yeah, this house, I remember going there as well one time and one of the guys was like, can you show me how to use the washing machine? I don't know where you put the fabrics on. He was trying to wash his sheets. I wonder if he's watching. I was like, yeah, sure, why not? I'll show you how to wash your sheets.
It was good looking. It was good looking and lusty with his shirt off, and you know, it's 20 years ago, and you know, it was fine. So Cleo, the bottom line from today is for people that are shared tenancies, it's just make sure your documentation's right with your property manager. Be transparent with your property manager. And if you start it, finish it. So make sure that if you start that application of getting yourself onto the lease or off the lease, make sure you actually it doesn't mean you've done the job by making a phone call. Make sure all of the documentation is placed and finite, finished, done properly.
Yeah, you can get a form as well from the Office of Fair Trading to terminate your tenancy, as in you're terminating yourself as a tenant, and you can give that to the property manager who will keep it on file. So if anything does go wrong in the future, you've done that part of it yourself as well, not just the bond. So there's a few avenues for sure.
But it does require an acceptance from a landlord. You can't just terminate yourself.
Yeah. That's right. And the person staying has to be approved to stay as well, by the way. You were approved on a tenancy for 2 incomes or 3 incomes. That person's gone and you are saying, yep, I'll stay and I'll take it on. It's your responsibility to make sure you can cover that rent. Otherwise, you'll be asked to move out as well.
You're a legend. Thank you very, very much. Hopefully that's
Thanks.
cleared up a whole bunch of tenancies for people, and we'll see you next Thursday.
See you then. Bye.
Thanks. Is it Christmas
Bye.
next Thursday? No.
Oh my God, stop it. No, I haven't bought one present yet. No,
It'll be
not happening.
Could be on the 25th though. We better check it for if you could be on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
See you, Ledge. Have a good one.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.